Hi, my name is Michelle, and today I'm going to show you how to install the ANKI Cozmo SDK onto a Windows machine using Android. First, I'm going to show you what I have here that we will need in order to successfully complete this setup. We have Cozmo, we have Cozmo's cubes, I have my Android device, and I have a Windows machine. As our first step for installing the Cozmo SDK on Windows, from the developer.anki.com site, we're going to go to the Get Started page. From this page, we can see that there's installation pages for Windows and other systems. We're going to go to the installation Windows link. And our first step is to install Python. We want to download the latest version of Python from python.org. An important step that we're going to need to look out for during installation is that we will need to tick the Add Python to Path checkbox on the setup screen on the first screen of the installer. I'm going to click the link from the Windows installation page to bring up the python.org download page. From the python.org download page, I want to download the latest version of Python. So I start the download. I save the file. The file's finished downloading, so I'm going to run it. The Python installer window shows on the screen. Before continuing with the install, it is important to tick the Add Python to Path checkbox, which is shown at the bottom of this first screen here. So I check the checkbox, and now I can click Install Now. Now Python's installed. Now that we've completed our Python installation, we can continue with the first step to actually getting the Cozmo SDK files on our computer. Under Python installation on the Windows install page, we have step SDK installation. For this, first I need to bring up the command prompt. In the lower left-hand corner of the Windows desktop, I can search for command prompt. It's the first thing that shows up. I click on it so it'll show. And before I start using it, I'm going to pin it to my taskbar. That way, whenever I want to interact with the SDK, I can quickly bring up the command prompt from the taskbar. Now I'm going to run the pip3 install step. And it is pip3 install -- user Cozmo camera, just like it shows on the cozmosdk.anki.com site. You can also copy it and paste it into your command prompt. After I've entered the pip3 install line in the command prompt, I press return, which executes that command. And in the window, you should be able to immediately see that the Cozmo and Cozmo Clad packages are downloading to your computer. At the end, you'll want to see that you have successfully installed Cozmo, Cozmo Clad, and other packages, so we can begin to start using them. Now that we've finished our pip3 install of the Cozmo and Cozmo Clad packages, we're going to continue to the mobile device setup. For Windows Android users, we need to install ADB, so let's start with that process. From the Cozmo SDK website, we want to go to the Android Debug Bridge page. Here we can find instructions to install ADB. First, we want to download the file platform tools latest windows.zip. There's a link to this file from the instructions. We're going to click the link and download platform tools latest windows.zip to our computer. After the file is downloaded, I click Open Folder. Here in the Downloads folder, you should see the file that we just downloaded, Platform Tools Latest Windows.zip. Now we want to open a new File Explorer window. In this new File Explorer window, I want to navigate to my users folder. For me, this is C:\users/Michelle. I navigate to my local disk, C:, into the users folder, and into the Michelle folder. Inside this location, I want to create a new folder named Android with a capital A. So I right-click, select New, Folder, and type Android with a capital A. Now I want to go inside this new Android folder. From the top of this File Explorer window, you can see that you are inside the folder C, Users, then the username, which for me is Michelle, and Android. From the Downloads location, we want to drag the file we just downloaded into our new Android folder. So we're going to drag Platform Tools Latest Windows into the Android folder. From the Android folder, we want to right-click the file we just brought over and select Extract All. After extracting the files, it may bring up a new File Explorer window, but let's stay in the File Explorer window we had before, where we can see the C:/users Michelle Android folder, or your name, of course, instead of Michelle. So from this window, where we see the extracted Platform Tools Latest Windows folder, let's navigate into this folder. And here we see Platform Tools, and inside we see the ADB file. If your File Explorer window is showing file extensions, this ADB file will actually be named adb.exe. So now we know that ADB is located at C:, your username, Android, Platform Tools Latest Windows, and inside the Platform Tools folder. So now we want to add this path to ADB to your path environment variable. We're going to right-click the Start menu and select System. In the window that pops up, select Advanced System Settings, then select the Advanced tab, and finally, Environment Variables. In the top half of the window, there are user variables showing. You want to select Path, and then click Edit. In the Edit Environment Variable window, we want to click New to add the path to ADB. So as we saw from the File Explorer window, the path to ADB is going to be C:\users, your name, Android, Platform Tools Latest Windows, Platform Tools. To add this to our path environment variable, from the Edit Environment Variable window, we click New, and then we enter the path. Once we've entered the path, we click OK on all the open dialog boxes. Now we get to make a final check to make sure that the environment variable was set up correctly and that the command prompt can find ADB. We want to open a command prompt window. In our command prompt window, we type ADB and press return. And if it was successfully installed and the environment variable was successfully set up, then we should see output about ADB, which we do here. So ADB is successfully installed. Now we can continue to the final installation step. Now we're going to take our Android device and enable USB debugging, unless you already have it enabled. What we need to do is find the build number under Settings, About Phone. On that build number, you want to tap it 7 times. After you've tapped it 7 times, you should be able to find Developer Options under Settings. Click on the Developer Options and mark the checkbox for Enable USB Debugging. Now, with your USB cable, connect the phone to your computer, go to the command prompt, and type ADB devices. You want to see a list of devices attached show. At least one row should show representing the device that you have attached. If a row does not show, then you'll want to check some things out before you proceed. You'll want to make sure that USB debugging is turned on the phone, that the phone is plugged into the computer, and that you have accepted permission from your phone that your computer is allowed to talk to it. The reason that we need ADB on the computer is so that our computer, which will run the Cozmo SDK, can talk to the phone, and then the phone, which has Cozmo's brains on it, can talk to the robot. With the Cozmo app running, we want to connect to the robot. After we've connected to Cozmo, from the main menu, we want to select Settings, scroll to the right to the Cozmo SDK section, and select Enable SDK. This will bring us to a screen that's mostly black with a big green button on the bottom that says Disable SDK. In the lower right-hand corner, you can see it says SDK not connected because we don't currently have a program running. So let's get the programs that we're going to run on Cozmo. We can start by going to the Downloads page and download the example programs. Now we want to get to the examples that we downloaded from the command prompt. I downloaded my examples to the Downloads folder. So I'm going to bring up a command prompt and navigate to that Downloads folder and make sure that I can see the Cozmo SDK examples folder. Now that we've downloaded the Cozmo SDK examples from the website, let's extract the files. And take note of where you extracted the files to. I've extracted the files to my Downloads folder, but you can extract them anywhere. Now we need to navigate to where we downloaded our SDK example programs. In our SDK examples folder, we can find a folder called Tutorials. Let's move into that Tutorials folder by typing CD for change directory, space, Tutorials. And in there, if you type dir, it'll show a file listing, and we can see 01_basics is the first folder that shows up. So next we'll type cd space 01_basics to move into that 01 basics folder. Again, I'm going to type dir to see the file listing in there. And the first one that pops up is 01_helloworld.py. So let's run the Hello World program. I'm going to type py space 01, and now I'm going to use tab completion so that the rest of the file name is automatically filled out. It ends with 01_helloworld.py. Now I'm going to press enter to run the py01_helloworld.py command. Now we've finished the Windows Android SDK setup. We hope you'll check out our other SDK examples. Head on over to developer.anki.com where you can view detailed documentation and also ask questions and check out projects in our forums. Thank you, and see you again next time.